Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CEO Sports Show for December 22nd, 2025, my birthday. Welcome into the show today. On today's episode, we are going to be recapping some of the games from Week 16 in the NFL season. And that feels crazy to say. Week 16 of the NFL season, it felt like yesterday we were watching the Cowboys versus the Eagles on that week 1 of Thursday Night Football. And now here we are. So if you guys don't know, we are a media company, Kretschman Media, and we have other shows on this network. If you guys would like to, I would appreciate it if you guys check them out. And we are going to be going live now. This is a new time, 3:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to stick around for that. Also hit that like button, subscribe. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, so I want to start this off with the New York Giants. If the New York Giants end up getting the number 1 overall pick, I think they need to consider trading Jackson Dart. And the reason why I say that is this. Jackson Dart, do you believe you're going to get as much in return for Jackson Dart as you would the number 1 overall pick and a chance to potentially draft Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore? I don't think a team would give up as much for Jackson Dart as they would for that number 1 overall pick. So then at that point, as a personnel department, as a front office, you have to ask yourself, okay, a team is willing to give me more for the number 1 overall pick than the quarterback that I have right now. What does that tell me I should do? I should probably stick and draft what is probably going to be a more valuable asset than the asset that we already have. And look, I like Jackson Dart. This isn't me saying that the Giants should move on from Jackson Dart and just have no replacement quarterback like some people say about other quarterbacks. Just move on from this quarterback. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have the number 1 overall pick. You have the chance to go get a legitimate guy with pedigree, legit pedigree, Heisman pedigree, like Fernando Mendoza, or a guy like Dante Moore, who is, I think, as safe as a prospect as you're going to get. I think I'm going to take that opportunity to go draft a guy that is graded at the top of the draft compared to Jackson Dart, who had a good rookie season, but we saw the way he plays the game of football. He is a reckless player. He has been in the concussion tent more than you would want your quarterback to be in there. Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, they're different type of characters, especially Mendoza playing in a pro-style offense in Indiana. It's much more easy to scout Mendoza. I think that's a very safe pick. I think he's going to be a better quarterback in the NFL than Jackson Dart is. So you're still going to be able to trade Jackson Dart, and you're probably going to get a 1 for him. I would assume you get a 1 for him, no doubt about it, and probably more than just a 1 for Jackson Dart. But at that point, that the NFL is telling you what they think is more valuable. They would prefer the number 1 pick over a quarterback who has had a good rookie season. That shows you that it's probably the right decision to stay at that number 1 spot and draft Mendoza, in my personal opinion, or Dante Moore, whichever one you find more appealing as a prospect coming into this draft. And if I'm going to be honest with you as well, you're still going to be able to draft another player, draft another rookie, because you're going to get a first-round pick for Dart most likely. You're still going to be in a position to draft a very good player to complement with Mendoza or with Dante Moore. And I think you're going to be able to get probably a top 10 pick for Jackson Dart, but I don't think you're getting another first-round pick on top of that. I don't think that that's going to happen. But like, if you were to trade that number 1 overall pick, you're getting 2 1s. There's no doubt in my mind about it. I don't think you're getting that with Jackson Dart, which is pretty much the league telling you, hey, we think Mendoza and Moore are more valuable. Now, when I look at the Giants as a whole, and you look at their front office structure, obviously, they still have Joe Schoen there. Brian Daboll, they moved on from him. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Joe Schoen this offseason. Are they going to keep him? I mean, I don't know. I think that, to be honest with you, how can you keep Joe Schoen? Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they have a high opinion on Joe Schoen in that organization, right? Like, I remember the Eagles did this with Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman was the general manager for the Eagles, and then Chip Kelly took over. They kept Howie Roseman around because they said, oh, this is a smart guy. We think that with being in an organization and getting a little more under his belt when it comes to being in the NFL. This guy could be a rock star general manager for us. And look at what happened. He became a rock star general manager. Maybe they see the same thing in Joe Schoen. But especially if they move on from Schoen and now you're dealing with a new front office. So there's no attachment from the front office towards Jackson Dart or a coaching staff towards Jackson Dart. You get a new coach coming in there and they may say, hey, look, I like some of the things that Dart has done, but I want to start over. I want to get my guy. And we have the opportunity to go get my guy. And that's where I think it's going to be the most interesting. I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm in that front office, if I'm in that personnel department, I'm standing up there and I'm saying, let's make this move. And again, that's not to say Jackson Dart is not good. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the league, but I'm not going to pass up on great for good. I think Mendoza and Moore can be great quarterbacks in this league. I don't know if Jackson Dart can be that. I like some of the things that Jackson Dart does, but I think he's overly reliant on his legs. And because of that, that's why you see him taking some of these big hits. I mean, like last year at this time, you couldn't tell anybody that Jaden Daniels wasn't going to be a flat out superstar in the NFL. But when I saw how Jaden Daniels was playing the game, I was like, that's not going to last in the NFL. Look, quarterbacks are not meant to run into linebackers head on. They're not. Like, I wouldn't want my quarterback to do that. I want my quarterback staying in the pocket, processing the defense, delivering the ball on time. And if he can run, that's great. I would prefer if he didn't take giant hits. I need you in the game more than I need an extra couple yards. If you're a running back, fine. I get that because with a running back, you want those extra few yards and you can actually get those extra few yards because that's how running backs are built. They're built with strong lower bodies and they can deliver a hit with power. Quarterbacks are different. Some quarterbacks are very well developed in their lower body and they can really use that force from their legs to deliver a hit to a linebacker. Sure, but even still, I don't want my quarterback doing that. Why in the world would you want that? I don't know. But like when I see Jackson Dart, again, I like him. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in this league. If you have the number 1 overall pick, I just think that you're not going to be in this position again. And with the type of play style Jackson Dart plays with when it comes to all the, the hits that he takes, I don't know. I think me personally, I would make the move here. And I don't think I'd think twice about it. I would be in that meeting saying, look, Dart can play, but we think these guys can be legitimate top 5, top 10 quarterbacks. Because I think that's the case for both of these guys. But let's move on here. If you guys haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Make sure to check out the other shows on the Kretschman Media Network. I would greatly appreciate that as well. Sorry about that. My phone went off there. That's part of the downfalls of going live instead of doing recorded podcasts. Sometimes your phone goes off and you're like, I forgot that I had that on ring there. So that's besides the point. I want to move on to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are frauds. Are people really buying into this hype? Because they beat the Commanders and the Raiders, they're back. You should be scared of the Eagles. Even though they're 2-3 in their last 5. And in their last 11 games, they're 6-5. And they started the season 4-0. And in that 4-0 start, you can make a case that they could have been 1-3 in those first 4. The Philadelphia Eagles are an above average football team playing in a bad division. And because they play in a bad division, which by the way, they didn't even sweep the division. Like that to me tells me something. I think they're 3-2 in the division, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not even sweeping a bad division. That to me shows me, I don't know. This team's fool's gold to me. And people are saying, look at the offense. Look at what the offense is doing. Great. They're playing bad football teams. And now, okay, you're starting to see what people are saying is a new offense for the Eagles. Wait till teams get tape on it. I don't know. I just think the Philadelphia Eagles are frauds. 6-5 in their last 11 games. They should have been 2-2 at best in their first 4. I'm not a fan of the quarterback. I think the quarterback has some blatant deficiencies that I don't think Eagles fans really want to talk about. They'd rather be blind to it and tell you how much of a winner he is rather than tell you what he actually contributes to winning. I think their head coach is a buffoon. I think they get away with a lot of things because of the general manager. Howie Roseman is a tremendous general manager. He's done a fantastic job, especially building on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. There's no doubt about it. He's built a tremendous offense. But the defense, to me, was what was so impressive to me, because it's not like they brought in big names from other teams to play on their defense. They drafted these guys. But Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, to me, when you talk about head coaching and quarterback duos, I mean, I don't know. I'm not putting them in the top 10. I don't know if I'm putting them in the top 15. If you're starting a football team, let's just be 100% honest with ourselves. If you're starting a football team and you can have any one of the quarterback head coach duos in the NFL, where are you putting Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni? Just to start a team, not adding any type of talent, just say you have to start it around this duo. Where are you putting them? I don't know. Would I put them in the top 10? Absolutely not. I wouldn't. I'm not putting them over Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not putting them over Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. I'm not putting them over Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor. I'm not putting them over Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer. I'm not putting them over Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. I'm not putting them over Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. I mean, that's right there. 6 coaches and quarterback duos that I listed. I'm not taking them over Stafford and McVay. Maybe you put them over them because of Stafford's age, but even still, I'm not taking Nick Sirianni over Sean McVay. I'm just not. So right there, that's 7 duos that I just mentioned off the top of my head. And then if you really want to get into it, you'll probably take Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. Actually, I'm taking them. I'm taking CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans. Again, these are just off the top of my head. If I really sat down and created a list, I feel like I can come up with easily 13 to 15 quarterback and head coach duos that I would take over Jalen Hurts and Sirianni. But they have Howie Roseman that I feel like covers up a lot of deficiencies with the 2 other leadership positions on that team with Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, good for them. But when I look at this team, I see a very outstanding defense, no doubt about it. But I see an offense that I'm just not sold on. Do I think their offense can keep up with the Los Angeles Rams? No. And people are going to say, oh, well, the Eagles, they beat the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, they beat them in Philly, and they barely beat them. They shouldn't have won that game. There were a lot of fluky things that happened to the Rams that, I don't know, I don't think you can bank on those things. I think the Rams are a better football team. I think the Bears are a better football team. I think the Seahawks are a better football team. Like, I would put them at 4th right now in the NFC. And they're going to have to go on the road, unless something happens with one of the wild card teams. They're going to have to go on the road for 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. And then they get to the Super Bowl, and who are they going to play? Like the Bills or the Texans or somebody like that? I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Like, I'm not sold on this run game. I think, again, part of the reason why the run game looked good over the last 2 weeks is because the teams they played are awful. They're bad football teams. So I know Eagles fans are flying high right now. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. And I think you're going to see come playoff time. I don't know if this team wins in the first round. I know they're not getting to the NFC Championship game. I know for sure they're not getting to the Super Bowl. And I can guarantee you they're not winning the Super Bowl. I don't know. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And, the thing is, when you look at this football team, I can't get behind Jalen Hurts. I get it. He's played well in the 2 games that mattered the most. But let me just say this. Are we sure that Jalen Hurts is not a playoff choker? And the reason why I say that is this. Okay, he's played very well in the 2 Super Bowls. No doubt about it. He's also not played very well in divisional round games, in wild card games. But the team around him has gotten him to the point where they can get over the top. even though Jalen Hurts has done everything in his power to lose those games. The only difference between what Jalen Hurts has put on the field in the playoffs when it comes to wild card and divisional round games is the fact that his team has just been able to bail him out. He's not played. Name me one game in a wild card or divisional round where you're like, wow, Jalen Hurts really stepped it up. But he had a team that was able to do enough to carry this guy to a point where, okay, they could play in the conference championship game and they have a really good matchup against the Washington Commanders. They can play in the Super Bowl against a broken down Chiefs team. And they do everything in their power to shut down Saquon Barkley. And Jalen Hurts has the easiest looks you can have for a quarterback, looks that quarterbacks would die to have. So I'm not 100% sure that Jalen Hurts isn't a playoff joker. I just think that the reason why people look at him as a guy that gets the job done is because of the fact that his team has been able to win games. Remember, wins are a team stat, not a quarterback stat. And when you take away the word winner from Jalen Hurts, what does he do to contribute to winning football games? If I hear he's a good decision maker, I'm gonna blow a gasket. He's not a good decision maker. Just because you don't turn the ball over doesn't mean that you're a good decision maker. If you're passing up on plays down the field because you want to check down because you're too afraid that you're going to put the ball in harm's way, that's not a good decision. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Jalen Hurts. I'm not. And here's the thing. I don't handle the Jalen Hurts discussion with kid gloves. There's no reason why that offense should be as poor as it is. The reason why the offense is as poor as it is because of the quarterback. Say it. It's because of the quarterback. And I see Eagles fans do this with Dak Prescott all the time. The guy leads top offenses every freaking year. But then they'll say, oh, well, he's got to win the game. But Jalen Hurts can be 8-0 when he throws for under 200 yards. And he's just such a winner, man. So I guess Dak Prescott just needs to start throwing for 130 yards. Or Justin Herbert needs to start throwing for 130 yards. That's what they need to do. You want to know what? It's like the Drake thing in Used to This, the music video where he's like, maybe the coaches for the Chargers and the Cowboys and the Bengals should tell those quarterbacks, just throw for 110 yards and you'll win the game. Oh, wow. Yeah. Like the ultimate team sport, but we give all the credit to, well, we meaning not we, Eagles fans give all the credit to one player. I don't know. It drives me up a wall. But that's besides the point. I want to move on to the next topic. And the next topic we are going to talk about, by the way, first, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And also, while you're at it, please make sure to check out the other shows on the Kretschman Media Network. I would greatly appreciate that as well. All right, let's move on to the next topic. I want to talk about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is a superstar. He is a superstar. He's starting to turn that corner. And what I'm really impressed about with Caleb Williams is the fact that I actually feel like Ben Johnson is slightly holding Caleb Williams back from this perspective. I feel like Caleb Williams is too coached up, where at times it needs to be, Caleb, go win us this football game. And you saw the other day, when Caleb Williams needed to make plays, that's when their offense was at their best. And I just cannot stress the improvement that you've seen from Caleb Williams from game 1 to game, 16 now? And let's just be 100% honest with ourselves. Like the Bears, they have some weapons offensively. Are they that great? Like, is their offensive pieces that great? I don't think so. I think they're enough to be able to have an effective offense, but I don't look at their pieces as I would look at the Bengals or the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Eagles or one of these other teams. It's good. It's solid. The wide receivers do their job, but I think Caleb Williams, what you're seeing is when he's asked to elevate, he's elevating. And another thing with Caleb Williams that like I talk about this with quarterbacks, with other quarterbacks all the time. When you have a quarterback that has the type of arm that Caleb has, I believe he has a strong arm. I believe he has the type of arm that can whip it through the cold weather of Chicago. He is like one of the quarterbacks that I look at. I'm like, he's perfect for a cold weather team, right? And people don't associate that with Caleb Williams because of Caleb Williams' personality. And I can't stand that at all because I don't associate being able to play in certain elements with somebody's personality. I look at it and I say, all right, what is your arm strength? And when you have a quarterback like Caleb Williams who can whip it through the wind and pierce through the wind because of his arm strength, I mean, now you have an advantage that other teams don't have. Not every quarterback in the league can whip it through the cold weather. Not every quarterback in the league can whip it through the wind. I think Caleb Williams can do that. And I mean, when you look at this Chicago team, I think they're as dangerous as anybody in the NFC. And now you're starting to see, I said this a few weeks ago, the Bears are legit because the Bears, they have good personnel. Is it great? No, it's good. But they have great coaches. Ben Johnson, I mean, man, you're talking about a guy who has completely changed the culture of Chicago overnight, right? Brought in Dennis Allen to be the defensive coordinator. Al Harris, the defensive back coach. The guy is one of the best defensive back coaches in the game. There's no doubt in my mind that he's one of the best defensive back coaches in the game. I mean, they have players playing at a higher level than you would expect them to play. Their run game is outstanding. I mean, like, they have one of the best run games in the entire NFL. And that's why I say, like, what I'm really impressed by with Caleb Williams, and this is, I think, in large part because of Ben Johnson, is that he's hitting the layups. Like, and you didn't see that from Caleb Williams. And I mean, I just have so much respect for how this organization has moved. I said earlier in the season, because I was big on Garrett Nussmeier, I'm like, look, they should consider this. Now, they absolutely should not consider it now. That was a bad take. I apologize. My mistake. Like, I was close to being out on Caleb Williams. And I was as big of a Caleb Williams guy coming into the NFL as you can find. I give so much respect to Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles for sticking it out with Caleb Williams, because you're starting to see this guy's starting to turn into the franchise quarterback that I think we all expected him to be coming into the NFL. And, is it going to all come together this year? No. Next year, though, year after that, I think this guy's going to turn into easily one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL. If he isn't around there right now, and he's going to get himself into that top 5 conversation, I think, in the next few years here. I think that, year one for what the Bears are building right now with this football team, I mean, you have to come away very impressed by what they were able to do this season, right? I believe they're 11-4 right now. And not only are they 11-4, like, again, this is year one of the Ben Johnson era. This is year one of the Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson combo. And you watch the team and you say, what makes them special? And I keep saying this, what makes them special is the guys on the sidelines. Like, we can look at players. Like, a lot of fans look at players and say, okay, what players do they have? They attach, like, look at the Bears. They're fraudulent. They're going to fold in the playoffs, whatever. Okay, fine. Whatever. The thing is with the Bears, the reason why a lot of fans can't grasp what makes the Bears good is because they don't understand the intricacies of football. They don't understand play design and schematics and, being disciplined and all those things that Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen have brought to this football team. And not only that, the thing I like about the Bears is they don't really turn the ball over and they get turnovers. I mean, that's huge. If you can win these turnover battles, that's huge. And like Dennis Allen, I think people forgot how good Dennis Allen was as a defensive coordinator because of his unsuccessful time as a head coach. Dennis Allen was dialing up Tom Brady. He used to dial up Tom Brady. And that to me is where I look at that and I say, do people understand who Dennis Allen is? I mean, Tom Brady had some of the worst games of his entire career playing against Dennis Allen. I mean, I think he shut him out before, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this guy is an absolute superstar defensive coordinator. And you have a superstar head coach who is a superstar offensive play caller. So, I mean, just a lot of really positive things coming out of the Bears and Caleb Williams. And I'm so high on this team going forward. We'll see what happens in the upcoming draft and, free agency cycle, because this is a team that I think is going to be a pain in the butt for a very long time. And honestly, you want to know what? Good for Bears fans, because I'm going to say it, because I'm not a fan of the Bears, but I love their saying, Bears. I could say that, I'm not even lying, about 20 times. I could easily say that about 20 times. So yeah, good stuff there. That's going to be it for the CEO Sports Show for December 22nd, 2025. If you guys haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure to check out the rest of the pages on the Kretschman Media Network. And until next time, I will see you guys later.